My YouTube name is Tynox Stream. This is the first time I'm going to be doing a video for YouTube, just about backpacking stuff. I'm new to YouTube, so this is going to be the first time. Right here, I have my alcohol stove, but I'm going to put it aside because I'm going to be talking about that one last. And actually, the main thing that I'm presenting here is this. What I have here, this is the platform where I'm going to be placing the alcohol stove and the wood gasifier stove. It's built out of, I made it out of a aluminum can. I imagine this is aluminum because it's so lightweight. I took this lid, is the lid of the Kibler soda crackers you can find in any store out there in the supermarket. Is the blue can or the green can, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that it services for the purpose that I intended it to. And what I did was to take it, and I chose it because it's crowned in the inside, and what that would do for me is to help, as I put the wood gasifier stove on top here, help reflect the heat back up. For one thing. For the other, it's going to help me with this piece of foam here isolate or protect or insulate the heat produced by the wood gasifier stove, prevent it from migrating into the ground and preventing the cold ground or snow to migrate up and affect the efficiency of the stove, of both stoves, either the wood gasifier stove or the alcohol stove. What I have here is a piece of a grill, cheap $3 or $5 grill that I bought at Food Lion at one time, and I used it a couple of times when I used to eat meat. I don't eat meat anymore, so I'm not into grilling anymore. And I took it and then trimmed it to fit my needs with my backpacking cooking. I put 3 pieces of little chain. This is a chain that I bought at Walmart at once. I took 3 pieces of it and I put it in 3 different spots, and I'll show you how this works and why. So what I do is I put this. I'm going to explain later how do I put all this together. Well, let me talk about that right now. What I did, I just took, I glued it together, these 2 pieces, with silicone. The silicone I used, I knew that it was going to be kind of hot, very hot on top here. So I used, and make sure that I used something to glue it that was going to resist the heat. The heat is going to be approximately 250 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So I used this, called something like super copper silicone for engines. They sell it at Advanced Auto Parts. I bought it there. It's not a glue, but it works like glue. It's silicone, and when it dries, whatever is, you put it between those 2 pieces stay together. And it resists 750 degrees. How about that? What I have here in these 3 corners is, those clips that you use to pinch papers at the office. I took 3 of them and drilled 3 holes in these 3 spots right there. I try to make them at the same distances. I didn't measure anything, so this is not perfect. So I put it there, and the reason I use this is because they're very flexible, very soft. You see, I can bend it with only one hand. I put it there for the purpose of attaching to the chains. Of the grill that I just showed you. I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so I put this on the ground. I put the backpacking stove, in this case, this is the wood gasifier stove. And this that you see up here is a crown that I made out of this metal mesh. Is the same material they sell at any hardware store. I cut a piece of it and rounded it like that and make sure that it stays together like that. It still has this little wires not hanging but sticking out like that, and I intended for that to be like that for a purpose that I'm going to show you later. What you have to know for now is that I made that crown for the purpose of putting it up on top here. What I've noticed for everybody is that when they use the stove, they put whatever they're going to cook with right on top there, like so, like that, and it sort of covers, there's no room between your pot and the fire. So I made this crown, and it fits, I'm not going to say perfectly, but it fits in there a little bit tight, you know, a little bit snug, and it stays there. Now this follows. I put this on top here, and then attach the end of the chains to the wires down below there. I'm going to show you how to do that later on when I have somebody assisting me with the camera. I'm going to take a break right now to put all this together. I'll be right back. Well, it took me almost literally like 2 minutes to put this together with the vision problems. So I imagine somebody with no vision problems could put this together in 1 minute or less. I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's all together. See, it's only one piece. It stays there. Now it's upside down, sideways. Now it's straight. And what that does is it offers me the comfort of having my backpacking stove, my wood gasifier stove, or my alcohol stove stay there sturdy without moving, and it minimizes the chances for me to have an accident. It's like knocking it down. I'm going to show you how this, you know, I put things together. I mean, put my pot on top of it. If you notice, it has this ends here that I trimmed. I did not forget to cut them. I just intended for them to stay there like that, sticking up like that. And the reason is that gives me a way of, you know, as I move it like that, touch the edges, and with my imagination look for the center. That's one way to just work. That was one of the reasons why I did. In the past, I used to try to put this in the middle of the stove, the isopropane stove, and sometimes I did, most of the times I didn't, and a couple of times I knocked it over. The other recipient that I use for cooking is my frying pan. I'm going to show you, this is the frying pan, and if you can tell, I don't have to be able to see in order to center this there. I just put it there and I feel for, you know, the edges. The other one I had, you know, it had more play into it, but this one is sort of made, tailored for it, and voila, it's there. So it will always be in the center of the fire, and I don't even have to see. All right? If you can tell, it's kind of dark. I used it, and my son used it for in a backpacking trip, and put it on fire. I don't really care. That's what these things are for. Anyway, and the other thing that this helps me, I mean, if I want to anchor this to the ground, all I have to do is like put a stake here, and another stake in the other end. I'm sorry, I touched the camera, pushed it. But the main purpose of this was not to anchor this. The main purpose of this was to affix this stove on it, insulate it from the ground, have heat reflection from the bottom of it and up to make this system more efficient for me, and at the same time have a surface here, round surface, bigger, so that I don't run into the accident of knocking my pot down again on the floor. Anyway, now I'm going to show you how it works also with the alcohol stove. I'll be right back.